The idea of taking a long trip came to me the first time I was in Paris, where I made some advertising interventions, both taking the ads out completely or replacing them with one of my artworks. During this week, I took around 10 posters that seemed interesting for possible interventions in Berlin. Then I realized, while putting all these pieces together, that people would not actually recognize the original ad, because the campaign did not exist in Berlin. This was the point where I started collecting posters and waiting a little bit before putting them back. But what actually made the biggest difference was putting them back up in a different city. An act which I coined the term temporary and physical offshoring, to reduce the advertising impact on the public and avoid that they recognize the original campaign. I spoke with Thomas and Charlie and proposed a trip to 6 different countries. But it was going to be difficult because we only had 18 days, so everything had to be meticulously planned. None of us have ever been in any of those countries before. I knew Paris, Thomas knew Amsterdam, and Charlie knew Prague, but apart from that, we didn't know anything else. I chose the locations using tools that the internet provides me, and prepared keys that I assume would work in at least half of those countries. But carried a set of 90 keys with me that I would be able to modify or work on, in case the others didn't work. I prepared some artworks at my studio with posters from both Madrid and Berlin, which had been finished and waiting for months. But I also made posters during the Interrail as well, improvising and looking for practical solutions to adapt and acclimate the rhythm of the trip. In Amsterdam, I found an empty flat and I used it as a studio for some hours. Thanks to a friend in Milan, I could use the shop window of his atelier to work on the posters I had taken in Brussels and Paris. The cities were chosen by population density. And the interventions locations based on the most luxury shopping areas of each city. Monte Napoleon in Milan, Kowarska Street in Prague, or areas with high concentration of advertisings, as well as locations with a cultural interest, like the 4 posters I put in front of the Museum of the National Library in Vienna. The interesting thing that happened there was the museum actually took 3 of the pieces away, but respected one and left it. And it actually lasted a long time there, which is rare because the artworks normally only last for a couple of days or a weekend. Back in Berlin, after more than 7,000 kilometers of travel, is when I truly realized the magnitude of the project. The artworks and the interventions went from just being posters to a large-scale project called Dissolving Europe.